Every parent has been there. You ask your child to do something, and silence. It feels like you're speaking another language. But here's the truth, it's not always about them ignoring you on purpose. Research shows that kids between the ages of 2 and 5 only have an attention span of about 8 minutes. That's less than the time it takes to watch a short YouTube video. And it gets even more interesting. Did you know that by the age of 7, children have already heard no over 60,000 times? That's a lot of negativity. It's no wonder they tune out after a while. But it's not just about being told what to do. Kids' brains are wired differently, and their ability to focus is still developing. In this video, we'll dive into why your child isn't listening, and more importantly, how you can change that. From creating a deeper bond with your child to transforming how you communicate, we've got strategies that are backed by science. Stay tuned for practical tips that will help you get through to your child, and bring the joy back to your relationship. Ready to unlock the secret to getting your child to truly listen? Let's dive in. Chapter 1. The Silent Struggle. What's really going on inside their mind? Ever wonder why your child doesn't seem to listen, even when you ask nicely? It might not be about defiance. Children's brains are still developing, and their ability to focus can be limited. According to the CDC, children's attention spans typically improve between ages 6 and 10. Before that, they may not have the neurological tools to focus for long periods. The truth is, a child's brain isn't like an adult's. In fact, it can take up to 25 years for a child's brain to fully mature. Kids might also be battling internal emotions they don't know how to express. Anxiety, fear, or even excitement can take up so much mental space that listening becomes difficult. The American Psychological Association notes that when kids feel stressed, it can impair their ability to concentrate. So, if your child isn't responding, they might be overwhelmed. One thing parents often forget is that children also need space to process. Unlike adults, who can often handle multiple tasks at once, kids need time to digest information. Research shows that young children process their emotions more slowly. This means they may need more time to truly hear you and reflect on what you're saying. As parents, it's vital to recognize that your child's lack of listening isn't a direct attack on you. It's more about their current developmental stage and emotional capacity. A study published in Frontiers in Psychology shows that when children experience emotional overload, they are less likely to focus. So, next time they tune out, consider whether they're having a hard time with their emotions. Chapter 2. The Power of Connection. How building a bond changes everything. Let's talk about something powerful, the parent-child bond. When children feel connected, they listen more. Sounds simple, right? But here's the catch, connection isn't just about spending time together. It's about quality time. The University of Minnesota's Institute of Child Development has found that strong emotional connections improve a child's cognitive function and ability to focus. One of the best ways to build that connection is through eye contact. A study in the Journal of Experimental Child Psychology found that children are more likely to respond when parents make direct eye contact. It shows them that you're engaged in the conversation, which makes them more likely to listen and trust you. In fact, when you're actively engaged, your child's brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which boosts their focus and emotional regulation. Another strategy is to use active listening. This means not only hearing what your child says but also reflecting back their feelings. I hear you're upset because you can't find your toy, for instance. Research from the University of California shows that children who feel understood are more likely to listen and comply. When they know you're tuned into their feelings, they'll be more open to listening to your perspective. Setting aside special time together each day also works wonders. It could be 5 minutes of playtime, a story, or simply chatting about their day. The National Institute of Child Health and Human Development states that regular one-on-one time with parents boosts children's emotional intelligence. And when children have high emotional intelligence, they're much more likely to listen. Finally, don't underestimate the power of praise. When kids feel validated, they're more likely to listen to you in return. Positive reinforcement works because it builds self-esteem and encourages kids to focus on what's being said. Research shows that children who feel appreciated and loved are more likely to respond to guidance. If you're finding these tips helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more practical parenting advice. Chapter 3. Are you really listening? The unseen impact of our own communication style. You might be wondering, why is my child not listening to me? But here's the thing. Could it be that we're not listening to them? Children are more likely to tune out if they feel unheard. As parents, we often get so caught up in our own messages that we forget the importance of listening. Dr. Daniel Siegel, author of The Whole Brain Child, highlights the importance of attunement in communication. He explains that when parents are attuned to their children's needs, the child is more likely to respond. Tone of voice matters more than you think. A study by the University of California revealed that children are more likely to listen when parents use a calm, warm tone. Yelling or speaking with frustration creates a barrier. Children's brains actually shut down when they perceive anger or criticism, which makes it harder for them to process what's being said. How we phrase things also has a huge impact. For example, instead of saying, "You need to clean your room," try, "Let's work together to clean your room." A study in developmental psychology found that children are more receptive when they're part of the solution, not just the recipient of a command. Another factor is body language. Kids are naturally attuned to nonverbal cues. If you're crossing your arms or looking distracted, your child may mirror that behavior and tune out. Experts from the American Academy of Pediatrics emphasize that positive body language, like an open posture and a gentle touch, signals to kids that you're fully present. Finally, consistency is key. A study published in Psychology Today showed that when children receive mixed signals, e.g., parents being warm one moment, distant the next, they're less likely to listen. Being consistent in both your actions and words helps build trust and makes it easier for kids to respond. If you're finding this helpful, consider subscribing for more strategies that will improve your relationship with your child. Chapter 4. Distractions everywhere. The modern battle for your child's attention in today's world. Distractions are everywhere. From smartphones to TV shows to video games, kids have more things pulling at their attention than ever before. According to a study from the American Academy of Pediatrics, the average child spends around 7 hours a day using screens. This constant stimulation can make it harder for children to focus on the important things, like listening to you. One key strategy is creating a distraction-free zone. It's vital to establish times during the day when technology is put away, and everyone can focus. Research shows that when kids have less screen time, they are better at concentrating on tasks and communicating with others. The Journal of Child Development found that reducing screen time by just 1 hour a day can significantly improve attention span and listening skills in children. Another way to reduce distractions is by establishing routines. Kids thrive on predictability, and a clear routine helps them understand what to expect. A study from the University of Chicago found that children with set routines are more likely to be attentive and respond positively to directions. When you have a set schedule for meals, homework, and playtime, your child knows when it's time to focus and when it's time to relax. Also, be mindful of your own distractions. Children often mirror the behaviors they see. If you're constantly checking your phone or multitasking, they'll do the same. Dr. Catherine Steiner Adair, author of The Big Disconnect, highlights that when parents are distracted, children tend to feel less important and become less engaged. By setting the example and being fully present, you teach your child how to focus and be mindful of the moment. Finally, remember that it's not about eliminating all distractions, but about balancing them. Let your child have time to unwind with entertainment, but also create spaces where deep concentration is possible. When kids are given the opportunity to focus in a quiet environment, they'll develop better listening skills over time. Chapter 5. The Listening Game. Turning commands into conversations. If you've ever felt like you're speaking to a brick wall, you're not alone. Many parents struggle with getting their children to listen to commands. But here's the key: switching from commands to conversations can make a huge difference. According to a study by Harvard Medical School, children respond better when they feel like they're part of the decision-making process. Instead of saying, "Go clean your room now," try saying, "How about we clean your room together?" This subtle shift empowers your child by giving them a sense of control. Dr. Laura Markham, author of Peaceful Parent, Happy Kids, says that children are more likely to cooperate when they feel respected and included in the process. By making tasks feel like a team effort, your child is more likely to engage and listen. Another strategy is to ask open-ended questions. Instead of saying, "Did you finish your homework?" ask, "What part of your homework do you need help with?" According to research from the National Institute of Child Health and Human Development, open-ended questions encourage problem-solving and deeper thinking. It makes the conversation more interactive and helps your child feel like their opinion matters. And remember, children are much more likely to listen when they feel heard. Active listening is essential. When your child talks, make sure you give them your full attention. This means putting down your phone, making eye contact, and nodding to show that you're engaged. Studies show that children are more likely to listen to their parents when they know their parents will listen to them in return. Finally, always stay calm and composed. If you're in the middle of a disagreement, avoid raising your voice. Children are sensitive to emotional cues, and if you're yelling or frustrated, they'll tune out. Dr. Daniel Siegel, in his book The Whole Brain Child, emphasizes that staying calm in the face of challenges helps children regulate their own emotions, making it easier for them to listen. Chapter 6. The Art of Patience. Why slow and steady wins the listening race. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to fall into the trap of wanting quick results. However, when it comes to getting your child to listen, patience is your secret weapon. A study published in Child Development found that children whose parents were patient were more likely to follow instructions and engage in thoughtful conversations. One important aspect of patience is managing your expectations. It's essential to remember that children are still learning how to listen and process information. Just like adults, they need time to understand and absorb what's being said. The American Academy of Pediatrics suggests that patience and consistency are two of the most important factors in teaching children how to listen. It's about creating an environment where children can learn at their own pace without feeling rushed. It's also helpful to give your child time to respond. If you ask a question, don't expect an immediate answer. Give them a few moments to think. Research from the Journal of Abnormal Child Psychology shows that children who are given more time to process information are better at responding thoughtfully. Rushed answers often come from stress, which can block effective communication. In addition, patience isn't just about waiting, it's about creating a calm environment. If you're stressed or in a hurry, it's harder for your child to listen. Psychology Today points out that children are more likely to tune out when they sense their parents' frustration. By staying calm, you're teaching your child how to handle their own emotions, which leads to better listening skills over time. Sometimes, the most effective approach is the slow and steady one. Celebrate small victories, like your child listening attentively for 5 minutes, and gradually build from there. Just like learning any new skill, it takes time. And the more patience you have, the more likely your child will develop strong listening skills. Lastly, make sure to model patience in your own behavior. Children learn by example. When they see you handling difficult situations with patience, they'll begin to understand how to apply that skill to their own behavior. And over time, they'll become more adept at listening, not just to you, but to everyone around them. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more valuable tips and tricks for improving your relationship with your child.